Folks, welcome into our Saturday night happy hour on the Crowd Assist podcast. It was supposed to be originally our Bills trivia night, but our guest contestant had a bit of a family emergency, so our thoughts are with him and his family right now. Hope everything's going all right with you, Topher. But still, we wanted to go live anyways because we're supposed to Thursday. We're here tonight. Just want to make sure we're here with you guys. So this is going to be the most unorganized you ever see us. I have no notes for this show. I think Merekat and Micah are going to be kind of the same, but you know what? That's what this whole train's about. You know, train never stops no matter what. I'm your host, Wake Jotkins, friendly neighborhood Merekat, and your friend, Jake Micah. We're here for 20 minutes or so, shooting the breeze about the NFL, some Bills summer storylines we're looking forward to. Tuanon, Nate Geary is public enemy number 1 in Dolphins Twitter. Does he deserve it? Maybe, but yes, we'll talk about definitely. That. Definitely. Maybe some college football stuff too. If we get to that, I'll have Jake Micah explain to me the feud between Jimbo Fisher and Nick Saban like I'm 5 because I have not been following that whatsoever. But grab a snack, grab a drink, join the conversation on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter. And speaking of drinks, we are sponsored by Outlet Liquor, Western New York's only outlet liquor when you need to stock up the place to buy a case. Memorial Day weekend is next weekend. It's basically the beginning of summer already, so make sure you get over there. I know. I can't fucking believe it. I remember last year I had a 4th of July party or maybe Memorial Day party. I don't remember much of it. That I can tell you for sure. But I got 8 handles of liquor, and it was by far the best deal that I could have found in the entire Buffalo area.
Nothing better.
We're going to get their logo up there in the top right corner. Support our great friends at Outlet Liquor. Also, we're supporting – oh shit!
Yeah, I can't believe I pointed to it right the first time.
We got it.
I used the mic as my guide. Yeah, I never get it right with the mirror.
Well, Merekat, you were better than me there, so we'll let you start so I can get out of the spotlight because I don't deserve it after that. Bill's summer storylines. What are you looking for? I know you already told us earlier. I know it's pretty on brand for you. For anyone who knows Merekat, what are you excited to see for the Bills this summer?
My biggest thing this summer is just going to see how the wide receiver room plays out because we made a move. We made a move in the draft, and we made a move this offseason. We added Jamison Crowder. We drafted Khalil Shakir, and we locked down Isaiah McKenzie. All good things, but I'm not that I'm not confident Josh Allen's going to be fine with anyone. I mean, somebody for his birthday today, maybe it was the NFL, posted his rookie year highlights, and it was all Robert Foster and Zay Jones. It's just like, oh, buddy, how far have we come? So I'm not complaining right now, but it's Stephon Diggs is the number 1. It's going to be Gabriel Davis as the number 2. And then after that, I mean, things are up in the air right now. It's feeling like it'll probably be Jamison Crowder, Isaiah McKenzie getting a shot. Khalil Shakir, absolute steal for the Bills there. Guy that reminds me of, he plays a lot like Cole Beasley. He plays, gives himself the cushion. He's super quarterback friendly, pretty athletic there in the slot. So he's a guy I think could sneak up and get a lot of playing time, but still, Gabriel Davis, we're all so high on him. I'm a huge Gaby Baby fan. Gabriel, not Gabe Davis, but him as the number 2, it's not the most confident instilling thing going into this season right now. He only had 35 catches last year, the same as his rookie year. Obviously, the 4-touchdown playoff game is fresh in our minds, but last year through 10 weeks, Gabriel Davis had 9 catches. He's a good receiver. He came on late last year. Yes, it's only his 3rd season, but relying on him as the second option heading in, it does scare me a little bit. So we're going to see a lot of these guys used, I think. Jamison Crowder, is he about to become, a 1,000-yard guy with the Bills?
Has he ever done that? Has he done that in his career?
I don't believe he has.
I don't think so.
Pull it up.
Maybe close. Maybe 800 a year, 1 year.
Yeah.
He's had an 847 and 833.
Yeah.
He's going to have every opportunity like Cole Beasley 2 seasons ago that, all pro season Beasley had. I could see something similar like that out of Crowder, even though Khalil Shakir, like I said, going to be pushing him. But Isaiah McKenzie, too. He's like the 4th guy on this depth chart right now. And I love Little Dirty. Love Isaiah McKenzie. He's, the face of the franchise.
He is, for a reason.
He had 125 of his 178 receiving yards in 1 game last year, which was an electric game. Loved it. Tons of
had him in FanDuel. Oh, my God.
There you go. But there's still so many questions. And obviously, Isaiah Hodgins is making the roster, so we got to see the noise he's going to be making. But
come on,
there's just a lot of questions with this receiver room, and I'm really excited for for camp to start to see how things play out. Guys emerging, Allen with so many new faces, Gabriel Davis needing to step up. And that's going to be what I'm looking forward to most.
Sorry, fixing my hoodie strings.
You look great.
Thank you.
Do you think that it's like how I've thought about the Bills' second wide receiver position is that it's going to be like if they always say like a wide receiver room is like a basketball team, and so is this team basically like the Dallas Mavericks right now, where we have one star and then basically everybody else who has like is very good at one thing. I feel like that's even the backs, like even you add Cook in there, talk about Knox and Howard, who are gonna. I think Knox and Howard are a reason they probably didn't feel as much as they were going to address like as heavily in a wide receiver. Like I'm with you on Gabe. Like we just haven't seen it yet. So I want you always would rather have somebody more proven. Last year, we obviously Sanders felt pretty good with him in there no matter what, even though they clearly wanted to give Gabe more snaps, Gabriel more snaps later on. But I think that like the committee approach is really what they're going to be looking at, because this team is going to be so multiple next year too. Like we're gonna see a different offense every week with just how versatile they can be. Running back. We're going to
see a different offense receivers. Every drive.
Literally every quarter. Like honestly,
every game.
We learned kind of last year they weren't shy about doing that. There were games where like Devin Singletary was the feature player. Obviously that Isaiah McKenzie game that Merekat already referenced. Gabe Davis had one of the best playoff games by any receiver in NFL history. Like they're not shy about doing that, like having one go-to guy every game based on matchups. And Gabe Davis, you bring up the Mavericks, and I guess he does kind of remind me of the Jalen Brunson of this offense. Like it's odd how that's kind of
that's similar. A great comp. Yeah,
it is, right? Especially right now, like the way he's been playing this run too. Yeah.
So and Meerkat, I'm looking at the offense too, but the wide receiver room. It's going to be really, really interesting because at the same time, like, Jamison Crowder, he's probably a lock for that number 2 wide receiver 3 at the very worst on this team. But let's say Isaiah McKenzie continues what he did last year. I think at his peak, he is better than Jamison Crowder. Let's say Khalil Shakir is the steal of the draft, like a lot of people were saying. Yep. Does he overtake Jamison Crowder? At that point, do we kind of get the first real point where players might come here and not get what they were bargaining for by coming to the Bills? Like that, I feel like Jamison Crowder kind of has, maybe he's the first real like let down opportunity for a free agent signing. At the same time, he could be amazing. He could push 1,000 yards, but with the guys underneath him, I could also see him kind of drifting away a little bit. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see how that all shakes out.
Just one more thing too on that, and not even trolling. We might see Isaiah Hodgins make this 53-man roster. We really must, like outside of the top 5 guys, which I'm considering Diggs, Davis, Crowder, McKenzie, and then Khalil Shakir. I'm considering a lock right now. In my opinion, you can't really, but then it's, Stevenson, Kumro, and Hodgins really battling it out for. Are we going to keep 7? Maybe.
I think 7 is an option. Yeah.
I think 7's a real option. And it's like, touchdown Jesus, sure, he's fun, great in preseason, can't contribute on special teams. Stevenson too, just haven't seen it yet. Still might be a guy you can keep on the practice squad. I don't know, just throwing it out there. It might be the year of Hodge Daddy.
I hope it's for Hodge Daddy. I mean, you've been hyping him up for years and years, and you've gotten me to buy into it. I mean, I want to see him get out there more than just in the preseason. And I can't imagine them, like, if it's between him and Stevenson, like I feel like it has to be Hodgins. I don't know if it's really all that close personally, but only time will tell. Obviously, if I'm looking at the offense, there's only really one other area that I could say I'm really excited for, and that's the running back room. And I'm really excited for it because there are still people out there in Bill's Twitter, Bill's Facebook, just Bill's Mafia, who kind of forget what Devin Singletary did at the end of the season last year when, one of his lowest yardage total games in the last 5 weeks, he had 52 yards on 4 carries against Tampa Bay. Like you can't point to much of what he did after Cody Ford and John Feliciano stopped playing and be like, wow, he's not an RB1. That's just not possible based on the body of work that he put out there. And, now you add in James Cook. And I think that this RB room, if it is Singletary and James Cook from day one in the regular season, has the opportunity to be like what Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara were in Alvin Kamara's rookie year. I feel like it could be. I'm not going to say James Cook is Alvin Kamara. I'm not going to say that. I'm just going to say they're very similar types of players who can be used very, very similar ways.
I'm just saying, no one thought Alvin Kamara was going to be Alvin
That's
Kamara
true.
coming in either. I mean, the man was a third-round pick, underutilized at Tennessee as well. So
yeah,
the sky's the limit for this man. For Cook, I think if you think like
he's such a good receiver.
10 years ago, do you think that he drops even to the second round, like just where value used to be on running backs? I feel like he is like high, would not have been able to drop that far in one of these. And same with like Kenneth Walker, like the guys ahead of him too. Like Kenneth Walker 15 years ago was a surefire like top 20 first round running back pick. So I'm interested to just see, like, you want to talk about storylines in general, like the first like couple running back, like Breece Hall, obviously not a first round pick. Like these guys that they obviously dropped in value, but they were such like Breece Hall and Kenneth Walker in college were studs. Like Kenneth Walker was incredible last year. These guys can come out and have an instant impact. It's just it's few and far between. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah, and that's the thing. The instant impact is why I'm so excited about Cook, because I think like the only way he doesn't surpass Zach Moss on the depth chart is he just doesn't grasp the playbook for some reason. He just has like a bunch of doy plays in camp that's just like, what the hell is this guy doing out here? Like if Zach Moss is ahead of him in week 1, like that offense is going to be behind the 8 ball of where they want to be, because they are two completely different running backs. That goes without saying at all. You know, Zach Moss came in and was like, I'm going to make people make business decisions. And it's like, okay, I'm going to tackle you because you're not very good. That's my business decision. Like, sorry. But, you know, it's just, I feel like they drafted James Cook for a reason. They didn't get another battering ram at running back for a reason. They were going for J.D. McKissick, ended up with Duke Johnson for a reason. And that's because they don't want someone like Zach Moss in that RB2 spot on this offense. And so I don't think I give him like an 80% chance of being our RB2 on opening day. I think that might be low.
Yeah, no, I agree. Cook's a lot more exciting of a prospect too than either Singletary or Moss were coming out. Not that neither weren't good prospects, but a lot more exciting for sure. And kind of that element that we've been wanting for in this offense, that we've been clamoring for, the consistent receiver out of the backfield. Now, Cook, didn't get a ton of opportunity in Georgia. He's in a pretty crowded backfield, but when he did, he made the most of it. He showed consistency, great catch rate, and he is great with yards after they catch it. So I can see it being just Singletary first 2 downs, Cook third down, like right off the rip this year. If Zach Moss doesn't do enough to kind of redeem himself, I don't think he's going to be a casualty of being cut. Are they still looking to maybe trade him? Or are they going to be waiting for a potential, big injury in training camp or something to a team, unload him for a 5th round conditional pick? Maybe I could see something like that still in the works. As far as Duke Johnson goes, this is another guy. He's just a good receiving back option. He's getting up there in age. He's coming off a year where he really didn't play. Pretty much 2 years of injury, but before that, it was 5 straight seasons, over 40 catches, 400 yards.
I thought he was
700
super
receiving yards season.
Yeah,
he's not a great rusher, but he's a good receiving back. And if he does sneak his way onto this roster, which is going to be a huge uphill battle for him, because Tuanon Jones is, I'm locking him into this roster.
Yeah.
This regime loves him. We lost some special teams guys. I think there's going to be some special teams guys who are casualties of cuts. And I think he's a lock type guy. Keeping 4 running backs is wild in some scenarios, but I think they do it. And so, can Johnson take that 3rd spot from Moss? Do we not keep either? That's in play too. Brandon B can do anything. Who knows? Yeah. So the whole offense is gonna be crazy to see play out.
It's gonna be great. Yeah, Micah, have your summer storyline you're looking at? Like, is it on the offensive side of the ball too? Are we all excited about the same damn thing here?
It's not on the field at all. I'm interested to see as we get into training camp, as we go into everything. There's going to be ESPN cameras all over St. John Fisher. There's going to be every NFL network's going to be parked up there. Everybody's going to be trying to get interviews with Stephon Diggs, with Von Miller, with Josh Allen leading up to the season. How does this team, it's going to be following it the whole year. Last year, they did not handle expectations well. They crumbled multiple times. They admitted to that after the season, that there was an up and downs, all that. So how are they going to do it this year, bro? Like, it's no different. It's literally like they're a better team, honestly. Last year I talked about leading up to the season how loaded they were, and they feel like they're more complete, and how they were the most complete team last year, in my opinion. This year they feel even more complete. They even filled the little holes that they still had left there. So it's really just going to be on them and their mental and upholding that better than they did last year. What's going to be different? What's the mindset going to be different? Is it going to sound different? Is it going to feel different? Are they going to be still as loose? You know, are they going to tighten up at all? I don't think they are. And I think that this team has shown the resolve plenty of times to get back up. And it's just, you come off a loss like they did last year and just a disappointing season like they did last year, and have all these expectations. It can go wonderfully, and it could be a huge redemption story. And for some teams and some regimes, it just falls off the face of the earth and you're asking questions, what if? I don't think that's happening with this team at all. No. But you just still have to keep it monitoring, because they haven't had this kind of attention, and especially going into this year. I mean, literally Super Bowl favorites going into the year, opening up against champions. Like they're getting all the love
being placed on them too. Like
like everything on Allen and everything. And I guess Allen specifically with the national attention, because it's obviously increasing to a fever pitch this year. He's literally about to be on TNT alone with 4 other people for like 6 hours. They reserve that for the highest of the high at this point with the match and everything. So there's a clear belief in his marketability and everything else. And so how does he handle that? How does he handle those different things? Again, he has not shown any signs of not being able to do it, but it's still, there's new challenges every year in an NFL season. So I'm just really interested to see how this team like interacts and reacts to like all this attention and everything, or if they just are locked in and Sean gets them locked in and it's really a boring year, which is what we need, because last year was not a boring off season, and you could tell like you didn't want the chaos.
I think from a player perspective, I think that's like, obviously you bring in Von Miller because he's one of the best defensive players in the history of the league. But you know, you also bring him in because of his experience. He has been with teams who you thought, okay, how are they going to handle the spotlight this year? You know, with Denver, you know, it had been a while since they had a franchise quarterback. They dealt with Tebow. And then they finally bring in Peyton Manning, and they have expectations there for the first time in quite a little bit. Then in LA, it's kind of the same deal. The Rams over there, they finally they go from Goff to Stafford. They finally have expectations. They bring in Von Miller. Without Von Miller, they definitely don't win that Super Bowl. I don't think that's kind of he had the game winning plays there. He was the player of the game on that defense. And so I think the Bills are kind of expecting the same kind of thing. I'm not nervous about how the players handle it, and call me crazy, I'm just a little more nervous about how maybe the coaching staff handles these expectations.
That's fair. Yeah, either way.
Because I think that's, we still don't know what happened with 13 seconds. I'm not going to dwell on that forever, but we have often gotten to big games or, maybe even regular season games against tough opponents where it just seems that Sean McDermott starts to go back into his like turtle shell, where he's just like, I'm still this conservative coach who is when the going gets tough, I'm just going to try to play good hard-nosed football, when sometimes you just need talent to go out and beat talent. And I worry that maybe he might just overthink himself in some of those critical situations again, but also he is very vocal that the players on the field should just not make the same mistake twice. I feel like he applies that to his own methodology and his own practice as well. So, as far as expectations go, I'm worried about how I'm going to handle them. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's facts. This is still surreal to me, like going and checking that Super Bowl odds and seeing the Bills up top or seeing Josh Allen at the top of MVP. You would have asked, never in my wildest dreams 5 years ago did I think that was like within the first 5 years of what we were going to get with this regime and everything else. But yeah, we're living it, guys. We got to get used to it. It's not going anywhere. There's going to be ups and downs, but it's not going anywhere anytime soon. That's for sure.
No, sir.
Nope.
And then I know, I'm recently just getting over COVID. Merekat is sick as a dog, so we're gonna get out of here soon. But before we do, I do want to get into Tuanon just like a little bit because I just think Tua is the most compelling player in the NFL right now for no reason
It's
in particular.
wild, bro. It's so wild.
And Nate Geary is public enemy number 1 on Dolphins Twitter. And honestly, I really do commend that man for going as hard at Dolphins fans as he does, because I do not have that energy. I really don't. And we need someone to in Bills Mafia, and he has a much bigger voice than the three of us. So thank you, Nate Geary. You are really doing the Lord's work out there, putting some Dolphins fans in their place, especially whoever it was that said Tua is currently a top 10 quarterback in the National Football League.
Oh my God.
Tough.
I don't get, like, they're just setting themselves, like, regardless of how you feel, there's some takes that I see that are just so out of pocket. I'm like, how do you get around to this? Like, you just need some kind of like self-awareness, guys.
I had to block Omar Kelly a very long time ago.
Oh my God.
Omar's been gone for a minute, man.
No, whenever I see you cannot view the tweet by this author or whatever, or like this was by someone you blocked, I assume it was Omar Kelly. Him or Darren Ravel, one of the two.
Gotta love Ravel.
But I think off the top of my head, I could name 15 quarterbacks that are better than Tua without even thinking about it. Like I went on his Pro Football Reference page very, very briefly, and like his interception percentage went up from year 1 to year 2. That's not something that you're particularly looking for. I don't. And they say like there are no throws he can't make. Really?
I think Nate made a point the other day that was so great. It's like, you guys were literally about to A, give Tom Brady ownership stake, and B, sell the farm for Deshaun Watson, and then you're just gonna tell us that this dude is fine. Like, it just does not add up. Those two things cannot coexist.
I like the video of him throwing the duck to Tyreek and everyone roasting it, and then within like a few days, Dolphins had a listing for hiring a social media manager,
a video producer. And then like the next day there was some video that one of their beat reporters put out, and it was Tua and Teddy taking side-by-side reps, one throwing to Waddle, one throwing to Tyreek Hill, and Teddy's pass was right on the money, hit him in the chest, and Tua is like, the dude literally had to jump up. He leapt and like caught it like almost with one hand. Like we weren't crowning Josh Allen a top 10 quarterback before we knew he was a top 10 quarterback. We said he had a high ceiling. We liked his high variance because, if you're going to try to be anywhere in the NFL, I'd rather have someone who can go crazy at random ass times than someone who's going to throw for 2 touchdowns and a pick every single game. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, like, there's nothing wrong with not having a quarterback yet. Like, yes, there is. We're going to roast you for it, but we'll roast you even more if you think that you have it when you don't, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
At this point, they don't have another option, so I feel they're just like sunk into they're waving. They know that they're going down with the ship. Whatever other euphemism you want to use for that, they kind of have to at this point. Maybe there is something to the. I mean, no, there's nothing. I have no optimism for Tua. I really don't.
Like, I'm 90% sure that he's going to be the worst quarterback in the AFC East this year. If you adjust for what receivers add to the offense, like ADOT and all the things that Football Outsiders measure, I guarantee you by their measurements, and I trust them way more than PFF personally. They do some fantastic work over there. I would bet that he has like the lowest like adjusted value out of every quarterback in the AFC East this year.
Yeah,
it's got to be, and that's what I wonder. Like, we've never seen Tyreek Hill in an offense that wasn't like perfectly suited for him, obviously. And Kelsey opens up the middle of the field so much. I mean, Gesicki is a good option. He's good as well, but he's not Travis Kelsey. And Tua, the main thing is not Patrick Mahomes, and is not going to fit the ball into any windows that we've seen that Mahomes get into. I don't know. It just seems like they're dressing up a pig like that. That's the Tyreek Hill move, it's you can dress up a pig, but it's still a pig. So we'll see.
Yeah, I want to. If you could bet on who the worst team in our division would be, I would put a bet on it to be the Dolphins. I really think it's going to be the Patriots, but like I put it on the Dolphins just to be way more fun in my opinion this year of all years. But any closing words, everybody? 7:25. We said be out of here in 25 minutes or so. So
happy
Micah,
birthday, Josh Allen.
Happy birthday, Josh
Yeah,
Allen.
happy birthday, Josh
DJ
Allen.
Supreme. Forgot
Happy
about
birthday,
that for a
DJ
second.
Supreme.
Yeah, it does a lot of the work behind the scenes that nobody ever really sees.
I've never seen them in the same room together, so just saying.
Oh,
That's true. That's true.
Oh,
This never seen Supreme and Josh Allen in the same room.
man. Well, now my brain's in a fucking pretzel. Thanks, Jake. That'll do it for us here on the Crowd Assist podcast. Our first Saturday night happy hour. Maybe we'll do this more often. I don't know. It's kind of fun to just shoot the breeze with absolutely no prep. So, yeah, you know what? Same time next week, maybe.
Maybe.
Thank you everyone for tuning in. Make sure you go to Outlet Liquor, the place to buy a case. Stock up for Memorial Day weekend. Stock up all summer long, and of course, use them for Bills game days this fall. For myself, Merekat, Jake, Micah, all of Trainwreck Sports. Thank you for tuning in, and good night now.